My name is Tyler Brooks, and until about a year ago, I worked the night shift in a small town in Montana. The motel is located near the highway that most people use to travel to Yellowstone National Park. It was a winter night when I was on my regular night shift. It was 3:15 a.m. It was snowing lightly outside, the motel was nearly empty, only 3 rooms were booked, and I was sitting at the front desk, sipping coffee. Suddenly, a silver Dodge Caravan pulled into the motel parking lot. The car looked old and the people inside were not clearly visible on the CCTV cameras. I thought it might be a late-night check-in, but 5 minutes passed and no one got out of the car. Then suddenly, a man got out, about 45 years old, with a full beard and a large hoodie. He walked towards the desk without saying anything. As he approached, I opened the door and asked, "Can I help you?" He answered without looking me in the eye, "Yes, I need a room just for a few hours." There was a strange anxiety and coldness in his voice. I opened an empty room on the computer and gave him the key, room number 107. He turned around and opened the car doors. Then I saw that there were 2 other people in the car, a woman whose face was clearly frightened, and a young boy, probably 17 or 18, who was constantly looking down. My heart began to pound. There was a cry for help in the woman's eyes, but she was silent. 15 minutes later, I saw on CCTV that the same man would repeatedly come out of the room, take something out of the car, and go back into the room. 3 times. The 4th time he came out, he was carrying a large bag, which he had dumped in the dumpster behind the motel. Now, I was really worried. I rewound the camera video and looked closely. There was something red coming out of the bottom of the bag, like blood. I immediately called 911. "Livingston County Dispatch, what's your emergency?" "Hello, I'm Tyler from the Pine Ridge Motel. I think something is wrong in room 107. A woman is in danger." The officers arrived in about 20 minutes. They knocked on the door, and when there was no answer, they forced it open. I'll never forget the scene inside. Inside the room was the woman, injured, and the young man huddled in the corner. The man was hiding in the bathroom, and he had a large knife in his hand. The police arrested him with great skill. It turned out that the woman and the boy were his own relatives. They had escaped from a mentally ill and violent environment, and this man was trying to capture them again. I never imagined that I would have to deal with such a serious and frightening situation on the night shift at the motel. But that night I learned that danger always comes silently and often in a human face. It was May 2025. My name is Zane, and I was 21 years old. I lived in a small town in New Jersey. My life was falling apart. I didn't have money to pay for college, and my mum's medication was piling up at home. So I took a job, the night shift at a gas station. The station was on Highway 1, where most of the night was filled with truckers or stray travelers. My shift was from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The pay was low, but I had to do something. It was 2 a.m. It was dark outside and the gas station lights were the only light. I was sitting behind the counter scrolling through my phone when I heard a car pull up. I looked out the window. An old silver Chevy Camaro had pulled into the parking lot. Its paint was peeling and one of the tires looked a little loose. The door opened and a man got out. He was wearing a denim jacket and jeans and his hair was messy. He came up to me and said, "Fill up $20. I said, "Okay, sir." I got out, got gas from the pump and filled up his car. He was looking at something on his phone, but his fingers were shaking strangely. I thought maybe he was tired. After I filled up, I came back inside and said, "That's $20. He handed me the cash and walked out to his car without saying anything. I watched him get in the car, but then something strange happened. The car wouldn't start. I looked out the window. He was turning the key, but the engine was just making a ticking noise. He kept trying, but nothing happened. My heart started to race. A few minutes later, he angrily opened the door, stepped out, and came running toward me. The door flew open, and he shouted, "What's this joke? Do you know how to fix a car? Get in my car and see what's wrong?" There was anger in his voice, but something else in his eyes, like fear. He said, "I have to be in New York by morning. If I don't get there on time, I'll be all over." I panicked. My voice came out trembling. "Sir, I'm not a mechanic. I just fill up on gas." But he wouldn't listen. He pointed at me and said, "You filled up on gas. Maybe you did something wrong. Now go and check." His voice was so loud that my heart started pounding. I thought arguing with him would be counterproductive. I picked up my jacket, took a small flashlight, and walked out with it. He was standing behind me, as if he were watching me. I opened the hood of the car, but I couldn't understand anything. I looked at the battery, the wires, and the fuel line with my flashlight, but everything seemed normal. But then I noticed something, a small cut near the fuel tank, like someone had cut it with a knife. My mind was racing. Did this happen while I was filling up with gas? I turned to him and said, "Sir, there's something strange here, in the fuel line." But he cut me off and said, "What? Are you saying you damaged my car?" He took a step toward me and his hands went into his pockets. My heart started pounding. Did he have anything? A knife? A gun? I said immediately, "No, sir, I didn't do anything. Maybe it was already there." He paused, stared at me, then suddenly laughed. A strange, cold laugh. He said, "Okay, son, if you're telling the truth, pray it starts." He got back in the car and turned the key. My breath caught, and then the engine started after a thump. He looked at me in surprise, then smiled and said, "Maybe you're lucky." He put it in gear, and the car sped out onto the highway. I stood there, my heart still pounding. But when I came back to the station, there was a note on the counter. "Keep watching." When did he put it there? My mind wandered. Had he come back? Or had he never left? After that night, I look at every car with suspicion, and every night it feels like someone is watching me.